All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and this time we are back to discuss a little NBA draft. Maybe a little winners, losers, maybe what you thought, how the fact that an NBA draft lasts from 7:30 till midnight makes no sense.
No, not at all, bro. They did a real horrible job with that. I'm sorry. That's why nobody wants to watch the NBA draft.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, no wonder why people don't want to watch the draft, dude. 7:30 to midnight? Are you kidding me?
5 hours for 2 rounds. How about we do it in 2 hours?
I was shocked.
7:30 to 10 works for me. Nothing wrong.
There's no reason it should take that long.
No reason at all. The NFL draft doesn't even take that long.
You got 60 guys, right? That's it. 30 and 30.
60.
2 rounds. 60 picks. 3 minutes a pick.
That's 180 minutes. That's 3 hours.
So 10:30.
Yeah.
So that's still at 3 minutes a pick. They're still running an hour and a half longer than they need to.
But then, Dave, you gotta also realize they have to take 5 to 10 minutes with every pick. Because you have to break that. You're already talking about the guys all freaking week. You're already talking about the guys before they get picked. But then you got to talk about the actual draft pick for 5 to 10 minutes per pick.
And then don't forget they're going to repeat themselves when SportsCenter comes on.
That's right.
And say all the same exact stuff all over again.
That's right, man.
Hence, ladies and gentlemen, why you love Sports Zone. Because we are not here to constantly repeat ourselves, and we do our best to avoid that. So, with that being said, I think... do you want to start with losers or winners? I really don't have many losers written down. I really just went winners.
Me too. The only losers that really are in the draft, I'm sorry, are like the Lakers, who had the last pick of the draft.
And that was their only pick of the draft.
The Nets, who gave up their first-round pick in that Gerald Walsh trade for some stupid reason. Like that. So the Nets, in my opinion, are big losers because they could have had the number 6 pick in the draft.
You know what'll be interesting, though? Is that last year's final pick of the NBA draft, the number 60th pick?
Who was it? Do you know?
Yes, I do. Isaiah Thomas.
What?
Isaiah Thomas's son was the 60th pick. Yeah. So his name is Isaiah Thomas, though. They don't even call him Isaiah Thomas Jr. They just call him Isaiah Thomas.
I guess he got a different middle name. So he's not a junior technically.
So, but he was the 60th pick of last year's NBA draft. Started every single game of the season this year.
Really? That's funny because I never heard the name of Isaiah Thomas all
He
season
plays
long.
for the Sacramento Kings.
That's why.
So
West Coast.
Small market, West Coast, and on top of that, they weren't that good. But he started all 66 games last year.
Hey.
So that pick's huge. Could mean something.
And speaking of Sacramento, they get a W in my book. They're a winner. Getting Robinson from Kansas?
Yeah.
Bro, that's solid for them.
Now him with Tyreek Evans
and Cousins, bro.
And
it's a wrap.
That's a nice little.
That's a nice combo for the next 5 years, bro.
That is a nice little setup. You know what?
They got rebounding
on lock.
I've talked
to you numerous times. Shout out to @SportsDude, a guy that I'm cool with on Twitter. I don't know if he's listening today.
Hey, you never know.
But if he is, shout out to him. Me and him were going back and forth on Twitter how I thought Thomas Robinson could be the best player coming out of this draft. I think he already has the athletic build of a NBA player, and now it's just a matter of honing his skills in his game. To me, I look at this kid and I watch him play, and he just plays with such a passion, and that was so emphasized for me when I watched his post-draft interview. And the first question, they asked him was, so how's it feel? All those years of hard work, you're finally an NBA player. And, you're talking 6'10", 240, 50-pound jacked up dude towering over the reporter. And what's he start doing but tearing up because he's so emotionally excited that his dream is achieved. He reached his lifetime goal. And to me, you see that out of a guy, and it just lets you know that, to be honest with you, he really is he's going to give it everything he's got to succeed in this league. And I think this kid, 3-4 years from now, we could be looking at one hell of a NBA player in him. I really do. I like Thomas Robinson,
yeah,
so
Thomas
I'm
Robinson's
with you. Sacramento Kings, definitely a winner.
Yes, Sacramento's definitely a winner. Obviously, I got to give props to the New Orleans Hornets. Obviously, getting the best prospect in the draft with Anthony Davis. And also, they picked again at 10, getting Austin Rivers. I think those two are great pickups for New Orleans.
They are. They're perfect building blocks. That's what it is. It's football. They tell you gotta have your quarterback, and then defensively you want either your pass rusher or your shutdown corner or your free safety that can range the whole field. Like you want like a specific spot on each side of the ball for the most part, right? I mean that's fair to say. Basketball, same idea. You want your guy in the backcourt, your guard, and you want your guy in your front court, your center or power forward. You get those two things, then you just worry about filling everything else in and go from there. Now, is that the perfect, formula to building a great team? No.
I don't think there is a perfect
formula, to be honest
with you.
I don't, especially in the NBA nowadays when 3 superstars just go to one team. There is no perfect formula.
Now the perfect formula is defense, defense, defense. Hopefully we can keep the superstars under 90 points and be in the game.
Exactly. Hence how the Chicago Bulls are still relevant, even when Rose was hurt, is the fact that in the NBA, you want to play as great defense as you possibly can and then hope you make a couple more shots than they do when the game's all said and done. But I actually really, really like the Hornets combination of Rivers and Davis. I think the two of them together is going to be very exciting. And then you had another Kentucky player. I think it's one of the first times in NBA draft history where back-to-back, the first and second overall pick were from the same school. Kid Gilchrist goes to Charlotte. And now a lot of people, especially myself, doubt Michael Jordan's ability as a general manager or owner to draft and bring in talent. He has not done a very good job of it. We ran through some of the players that he's drafted in the recent years. Kemba Walker was last year. His first one was Kwame Brown. So hopefully he's getting better. I mean, everybody liked Kemba Walker in college, but he didn't do much last year. A lot of people thought he'd have a chance to fight for Rookie of the Year.
He's also a little small. I feel like he's going to need another year or two before he really makes an impact in the NBA.
He probably will. And, me and you, I say this all the time. NBA, you've got these kids coming in 19 years old, okay? You've got literally 6 to 7 years before you really know what they're going to turn into. So hence why a lot of good players aren't on the teams that drafted them because their contracts run out.
Yeah.
And they might not have done enough to show the team that they're worth re-signing. But you need, sometimes you got to give them extra time, but that's between teams, and that's not what we're here to talk about. But,
no, not at all.
I really do like New Orleans' draft picks. Now, I want to save the Celtics for last. Yeah, because they were my favorite.
They are our big winners from the Celtics. But I'm going to ask you something. At number 4, Cleveland Cavaliers, they kind of went a different way. I didn't really see them taking Dion Waiters, a guard from Syracuse. Why did they decide to go that way if you know anything about Dion Waiters or anything like that?
From what is that Brittany? I think so.
No, go ahead. Continue.
Anyway,
just
sorry.
Talk.
So, Dion Waiters to me I think they went that way because of how well he's probably going to be able to complement Kyrie Irving. I think they believe that they can build their backcourt with the two of them. And Waiters, I'm not 100% sure exactly what his height and weight is. But I do believe that he's big enough that he could even slide down to the small forward spot every now and then for them as well. And Dion Waiters offensively can turn up in the clutch. He played really well for Syracuse.
Yeah,
he played really well for Syracuse in some clutch moments in the tournament. He stepped up big with Fab Melo not being there. That whole Syracuse team really stepped up big without Fab Melo. But I think that's why they went that way. I think they felt that Waiters would be a perfect complement to Kyrie Irving in the backcourt of Cleveland, and that way they're building their backcourt. They drafted I can't remember the kid's name off the top of my head from Arizona last year. I love that I can remember the school he went to, but I can't remember his name. Was it Williams?
Derek Williams?
Derek Williams, yeah.
Oh!
Solid player from Arizona. He's another kid that you can put at the 3 or the 4 in the NBA. And this, I think that... And Cleveland also got Zeller.
Yeah, because whatchamacallit, Dallas, I think,
traded him. Tyler Zeller is going to be a nice little compliment.
I thought Zeller was actually
going
to be really good on Dallas.
And then they traded him. Good with
I
Dirk.
thought that was good. I was like, damn, look at you, Dallas. Tyler Zeller, nice.
Yeah, no, I think Cleveland had a good draft. I think they did. Waiters and Zeller in the first round should be pretty good for them. Even if they don't turn into dominant starters, at least they turn, they should turn into some good starters, solid role players type of guys. And, I said this yesterday as an example. Look at the Denver Nuggets, okay? You do not need to have superstars to make the playoffs. If you want to win a ring,
that's different.
That's different. But sometimes some of these NBA teams are like some of the cheap football teams. They really just want to get some extra money out of making the playoffs. NBA championships don't mean that much to them. Teams like the Celtics and the Lakers, or the Heat and the Thunder, that teams that have invested a lot into trying to get to the finals, that's different. But teams like Denver, they're right now they're just worried about bringing in money. So, I think that
I want to hear from everybody. Actually, if you're out there in Twitter land, hit me up on Twitter at SportsZoneJoeyD or at David Hastings 23. Who did you guys feel were winners and losers of the draft? We want to hear from you. Or give us a call, 201-430-2119. We'd love to hear what everyone has to say about the NBA draft last night, except how long it was, because we all know it was very long.
I apologize to break up this talk because we're flowing really well, but, I'm going to talk instead of just reading it out loud. But, Joey, read what Gummy said. It was really nice of him.
All right. What? They don't need 1 million people to be the best?
Yeah, read that. Trust me. It's really nice of them. So I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
Obviously the Bulls fan in me, I was obviously very worried about my Bulls and what they were going to take. I'm a firm believer they need to work on finding a 2-guard. They're stacked at athletic big men, and I love that we are, but I think the Bulls need to start working on getting some young guys in the backcourt because no disrespect to Kyle Korver, but he's not good enough all around. Ronnie Brewer is to say, if you could put Kyle Korver and Ronnie Brewer together, you'd have a starting shooting guard worth a lot of money. But you can't, so we can't, and we move on. So they draft Kentucky guard Marcus Teague, who was part of the national championship team. He was part of that dominant little group of freshmen that was on Kentucky. And I like the kid. He was actually one of the guys that came off the bench for Kentucky. He didn't start. But I really think that, Teague actually has an opportunity to become a starter in the NBA.
And especially this year with Rose being out, he has a great opportunity to just step in and fill that void by Chicago.
They might really look at him as a point guard instead of having him play the 2. And what'll be interesting to see
next year
is if he plays good at point, does Chicago finally make the move and put Rose at the 2-guard? So Rose doesn't have to constantly, you know what I mean? Yeah. Rose can be the scorer that he naturally is and not have to worry so much about running the offense and getting everybody else involved. To me, I'd be cool either which way. Rose is a talent that you don't see in many players. And no matter what spot he plays in, that talent should shine. I think it will improve certain aspects of his game, and it'll take away from other aspects of his game. But all in all, I think it wouldn't matter for Rose how they went about it, in my opinion. He might care. To him, it might mean something to be point guard. Some of these guys, like the college kids that come out in football that want to be quarterbacks, even though everybody tells them, dude, you should just be a wide receiver. It'll get you a higher draft pick and so on and so forth. And I think Rose could be that kind of guy where Rose, I don't care. I want to be the point. It's my team. I want to run it. I don't know. But I liked Chicago's pick with Marcus Teague. It was the only pick they had in the draft. Another thing that we touched on this week leading up to the draft was the Houston Rockets.
They did nothing with Dwight.
And I'm very happy for them. And I actually really like the 3 guys they drafted, too, to add to the depth of their team. Jeremy Lamb is a name that a lot of you guys might know, especially in the Northeast.
Team 2 years ago.
So Jeremy Lamb's a guy a lot of people in the Northeast definitely should know about. Then you got Royce White and Terrence Jones, both forwards. Actually, I think all 3 were forwards, but I think they're all swing men type of forwards that could move up to the 2, that kind of stuff. But I like what the Rockets did. Add to the depth of your team. Get better, get younger, and everything else will work itself out. You'll be okay. You might find some superstars in this. You don't know.
And just one more thing before we get into Boston. I really like OKC getting Perry Jones III, 28th pick in the draft. Perry Jones III was, moving down on draft board just because, he's not healthy, correct?
Yes.
He's got knee issues or something like that?
Yes.
See, and I think him going to OKC is a perfect opportunity for him because there's no pressure on him to do anything special. He's going to come off the bench for them, and he's going to provide such a great spark like Harden does off the bench. This team just keeps getting deeper and deeper. Perry Jones III has the ability to be really good in this league.
They definitely know how to draft over there in Oklahoma City. There's no question about it. They got Serge Ibaka with pretty much the same exact draft pick.
Yeah.
I think Ibaka was 27, this kid was 28. But they know how to draft, and at the same time, I heard one of the analysts make a good point after the pick was made, was that there is a chance that when Serge Ibaka's contract time comes, Oklahoma City might not be able to re-sign him. They just might not have the money for it. Not that they wouldn't want to. They just might not have the money to do it. So if that's true, then what do you then this pick was even smarter because they planned for the future as well as having enough time to develop the kid before Serge Ibaka goes away. This was actually a really smart draft pick in more than just one way.
Yeah, bro.
So I really like that pick as well. A contending team already, and then they add to their contention.
But the biggest winners of the night, in my opinion anyway.
Not our opinion.
In our opinion anyway, were the Boston Celtics going back-to-back at 21 and 22? Or was it 22 and 23?
I actually think it was 21-22. Yeah, you're right on that.
Yeah, 21-22. Getting Ohio State forward Jared Solinger and Syracuse center Fab Melo. I love it. I love that the Celtics got these two picks, and I'm shocked that Solinger fell this far. I knew he was going to fall. I didn't think he was going to fall to 21, though.
He wasn't even invited.
What?
The NBA did not even invite him. That's how bad he fell down draft boards.
Oh, my goodness. See, and I feel like that this is such a steal because Solinger has the opportunity to be a top terrific talent in the league, and Fab Melo can chip in immediately with the Celtics. Now, in my opinion, the Celtics need to keep KG so Fab Melo can learn under KG for another year or two.
I don't think that's a bad idea at all. It's just how much is KG going to want?
True.
That, to me, is the biggest question about Kevin Garnett right now. Is, how much is he going to want and what's he going to want from Boston? Is he going to give them a hometown type of discount, or is he going to say, look, I busted my hump for you guys and I think I deserve to get paid for it? I don't really know because I know the competitive nature of him and the love he seems to have for Boston might keep him there. But at the same time, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're going to be able to afford to re-sign him. That's really what it is.
And our girl, Paula Bavacqua, must be very happy. Our friend Paula is a big Boston Celtic fan. And I kept saying to her, they need a youth movement. They need a youth movement. Guess what? They're getting a youth movement. Now you got Bradley, Rondo, Solinger, Melo, and who was the kid that played really well in the playoffs for them? I think there was a big guy. I forget.
Oh.
Steensma?
Steensma.
He played all right. He wasn't bad. But obviously he's not the answer for them. But I think they were the biggest winner out of everybody in this draft. Other than that, I think I'm good. I think I'm good on the NBA draft. I don't know. I got one more thing to add. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I got two things, but they're both more quick than...
Yeah, it's same thing with me.
So
it's something quick. Kentucky and UNC had
that was one of my things.
10 out of the 60 players drafted. 6 of the draft went to UNC or Kentucky, which just means, if you're a top basketball kid, you want to go there. You want to go there because they produce the most pros. And also, this is the first time in history that we had 7 schools with multiple first-round selections.
7 schools? See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Duke, UConn,
Both had 2.
Kentucky, UNC, Vanderbilt, Washington, and Syracuse.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I did not know that.
7 schools.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, in the first round, you had 4 from Kentucky and 4 from UNC. Both in the first round. They took up 8 of the 30 picks of the first round, just those 2 schools. As Joey pointed out, they took up 1/6 of the entire draft. And then a shocking thing to me was only 1 European in the first round.
Yeah,
That
shocking
shocked
too.
me because the Europeans started flowing in the second round. I think some of this has to do with the fact that some of these European players are technically under contract
Okay.
in Europe. So when they draft them, they have to wait till their contracts
wait for
expire.
the rights. Yes. Because I think that's what happened with Ricky Rubio, right?
Yeah, well, Rubio didn't want to play for Minnesota. And then he
that's
saw
why-
Kevin Love dominating and decided that he was going to come over. But, like, the player the Knicks drafted.
Turkey.
From Turkey.
No, I'm sorry. He's from Greece.
He can't be here for 2 years.
Wow.
Like, the Knicks won't have him for 2 years on their roster. But at the same time, from what everybody says about this kid, 2 years is almost perfect because it'll give him a little more time to develop, and he possibly could come right into New York and start or be a solid rotation guy right off the bat. So not a bad move by the Knicks from what I heard. All I do know is the simple fact of the matter is I wouldn't want to wait 2 years for a guy I just drafted. I wouldn't. But that's neither here nor there. I'm happy with my Bulls draft pick.
Yeah, but don't you already wait like basically 2 years for a draft pick to develop anyway?
Depends. Some of these guys come in and start right away. Some of these guys are just practice squad kind of guys, and then other ones are, we bring in when we're up 30 with 5 minutes left. You're not going to know what you got with any of these guys until you get them on there.
That's true.
Wow,
Very true.
Joey making a bold prediction. I can't wait till the basketball season gets. Dude, September and October. Oh, I can't wait. Me and Joey are going to not have enough time. We might have to extend to 4 hours. We're going to have to talk.